Welcome to And Then What, a podcast that explores what happens to plastic after it's served its purpose and the broader environmental impacts of plastic production and plastic pollution. Today I'm exploring a topic that's often overlooked when discussing climate change: plastic and its impact on our planet. The environmental impact of plastic starts long before it becomes waste. So if you care about climate change, you should care about plastic production and plastic pollution. Plastics, fossil fuels, and climate change are all interconnected, which is why it's more important than ever to reduce our reliance on plastic. The majority of plastic is made from fossil fuels, specifically oil and gas. In fact, about 99% of plastic comes from these non-renewable resources. So when we talk about climate change, we need to include plastic production as part of the conversation. It's not just the visible pollution that's the problem. Plastic pollution happens at every stage, starting with oil extraction and refining through to production, and finally when it's discarded and considered waste. Not only that, but when we look at the recent fires in LA, one of the contributing factors in the ability for the buildings to burn so quickly, releasing harmful toxins into the air and making it harder for firefighters to combat the flames, was due to plastic. There is plastic throughout our homes, and I'm not just referring to the single-use plastics that are commonly used. Electronic equipment, furniture, paint, curtains, and on and on. Our homes contain hundreds of items of flammable plastics. Let's look at a few types of plastics and their environmental impact. Biodegradable and compostable plastics are made from renewable materials like cornstarch or sugarcane. Biodegradable plastics can break down naturally through bacteria and other living organisms, which means they don't stick around in the environment for very long. Compostable plastics require specific conditions to decompose, meaning, as the name implies, that they need to be composted. Bio-based plastics are also made from natural sources, such as plants, and include plastics like PET, the same plastic used for water bottles or food containers. While it is possible to make PET from renewable resources, most of the production today still relies on fossil fuels. So while bio-based plastics may sound more sustainable, they often have the same environmental impact as traditional plastics. Fossil-based and non-biodegradable plastics are made from oil and gas. They include some of the most common plastics in the world, like polyethylene, which is used in single-use packaging, and PVC, found in things like water pipes and wire insulation. Polyethylene is the most manufactured plastic in the world, accounting for over 100 million metric tons each year. Yet globally, only 9% of plastic waste is recycled. And then what? What happens to all this plastic when we're done with it? Much of it isn't recycled, and instead sits in landfills for centuries, or worse, ends up in our oceans, harming marine life. The reality is, plastic isn't just a pollution problem, it's also a climate problem. If we want real change, we need to rethink our reliance on plastic and hold the industries driving its production accountable. I'm Kathy Earle, asking you to keep questioning, and then what?